How's the mood? Mate? Tough year, isn't it? It seems to be getting tougher.
Yeah, it's not ideal, obviously, only winning one game, but we're pretty confident in the course that we're taking at the moment, and the playing group's really strong and tight, and we've continued to commit to each other, and we've had honest conversations week in, week out with each other, and I think the most disappointing thing is the fluctuation in form. We've performed really well on our home deck at times and taken it up to some really good oppositions, but then let ourselves down really poorly on the road. So we've got to get that level of consistency back, most importantly.
How important is the senior group here when you're going through tough times like this, and ensuring that the young kids, I suppose, don't lose hope or don't lose focus on what they've got to be doing each week?
Yeah, it's vital, and that's a real battle that we have at the moment, because we only have about 5 or 6 blokes over 25 that are playing, that are out there week in, week out, and it's important that the players that aren't playing, the leaders in particular, and the leaders out on the field are really driving that, and the quicker we can fast track our development in our leadership and so on, the better it's going to be for our playing group. And it's important that our older blokes do drive that, and they're the ones at the end of the day that do drive the culture and the direction that we're heading.
Have you spoken to Leppa about that? I suppose the need for support in and around yourself and the other leaders, and how important it is for you guys?
Oh, we have the conversations around different things, but at the end of the day, that's not my job about list management or anything like that. I think it's important that you go out there and just do your job, and that's, for me, is to lead the team out on the field as best I can, which has been a little bit frustrating. Obviously, the last sort of 2 years, it's been an up and down run for me individually, so my frustration comes when I can't be out there supporting the team and getting the job done.
Greg Swan was on Melbourne radio earlier today, just guaranteeing Leppa will coach next season. Also, it was addressing speculation of playing. He'd lost the playing group, that sort of thing. Is it frustrating when speculation like that is around when you're on a?
Yeah, I think it's always going to be there, especially when you've won one game. That's the media's job to look for something and try and put cracks amongst the footy club, and the playing group has full support behind Leppa, and Leppa has the full faith in the playing group. So it's important that we just continue to work as a unit, as a footy club, and I'm sure the performances will start to come. I think we've probably made a few too many excuses for ourselves in the past, and we know that we've got 11 games to go in the season, and we're looking to have some wins in the back half of the year.
What's a pass mark for the next 11 weeks?
I'm not sure. I think you want to see that consistency amongst the team. I think when you've won one game, it's hard to put a pass mark on how many you want to win on in the back half. You obviously go out there and you want to win every week. So we don't want to limit ourselves, and we don't also want to set our expectations too high. We've just got to go out there and start to perform our role for 120 minutes and have 22 contributors week in, week out, and that's the most frustrating thing I think we've got. When we play well, we do have that, but we'll fall away for a 10-15 minute period, and the opposition will kick away, and we even seen that on the weekend. I think we started the game really well against Carlton. We had I think 7 inside 50 tackles in the first 10 minutes, 12 to 1 inside 50s, but we could only put a couple of points on the board, and we know that in any sport that scoreboard pressure is the best form of pressure, and if you're not doing that, which we haven't consistently done, and we've kicked ourselves out of a few games, and we know that, we've got to continue to work on our skill and our execution, and then also under pressure and fatigue, making sure that we make our opportunities count in front of goal.
Rocky, you said that players are right behind Leppa and you're a tight group. What's improved in your eyes since Justin's come on as coach?
I think you can see that the direction the footy club's taken now. I think we've had so much list turnover the last few years that it's always going to be a challenging time for a period, but things can turn around really quickly, and the team has full faith in the game plan and the way that we play, and obviously it tinkers a little bit week in, week out, but the most important thing is that we can stay consistent and go out there and try and perform the game plan each week to the best of our ability.
Is he feeling it? I mean, you're probably closest to him from the playing group. I mean, obviously when you are one win for the season, the coach has, cops it in the neck, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think he takes the full brunt of it a little bit, and I think there's no doubt it'd have to affect you. It'd have to get to you. He doesn't really show it all that much. He's a confident sort of fella, and I think that's the most important thing for us, is that he stays consistent with his messaging and confident in the path that we're taking.
Those are pretty hard measures, I guess, as a fan, though. Things like consistency, they're not
Oh, there's
the
no-
hard numbers. As a fan, you want some more harder set goals. Do you have any?
Yeah, I think we do. I think you've seen that we want to kick 100 points week in, week out, but unfortunately the way we're performing at the moment, we're kicking a lot of points and we're not giving ourselves an opportunity to do that at all. And I think we set ourselves a goal to be really hard to play against at the Gabba this year, and I think we've probably done that one reasonably well. There's no doubt that it's challenging for our fans and members and supporters, and don't worry, it's hard to be a player as well. It's hard to be a captain of a footy club when you're struggling, and we all feel the pressure. It's not, I know that it's hard and it gets harder and people go, oh, you're just selling a message and so on, but we're confident in the direction that we're taking, and it's going to be a longer sort of period for us. We know that it's not going to turn around in a week or two. It's going to be a long-term build.
What do you do as a skipper to find the will to turn up every week then? Specifically, what do you do?
I'm just consistent in my approach. I think that's the most important thing. If you tick all the boxes to get yourself ready for a game, then you give yourself the best opportunity to go out there and perform, and that's the most important thing for me as captain, to be consistent with my performance, the way I train, the way I go about it throughout the week, make sure I'm recovering and doing all the right things. So then it sets an example for the younger boys that are coming through, and they can see that and consistently do that as well. I think you have your challenges if you start to look for ways out or excuses, or give yourselves out and start to take the easy road instead of knowing that it's going to take hard work, and we've got to consistently find that.
Is this a bit of a must-win this weekend then, just for your own confidence as much as anything?
Yeah, it probably is. I think Fremantle's they obviously finished on top of the ladder this year, and they had their first win on the weekend. So it's one of the toughest road trips in the game, the Perth to Brisbane one, Perth to Brisbane. So it's a good opportunity for us, and we know that if we start well on our home deck, that our fans and members do continue to turn up and can carry us over the line. But it's important that we take our chances in front of goal early. When we have that momentum, that we hit the scoreboard, but when the opposition gets their momentum throughout games, because I don't think any team's ever had 100% momentum consistently over a period of time, and I think Hawthorn's probably the one great example of when the chips are down, they still find a way to win, and we're still learning to get there. I think the best way for us to do that is build scoreboard pressure on Fremantle early, and hopefully we can get our game going from after that.